Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Total Body Training with David. My name is David and I am pretty excited for you to be here. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is nutrition, but within that, even more of a favorite topic. I get a lot of questions about this. I've often had a lot of questions about it, and that is protein and protein powders. Why do we need it? How can we get it? What's the best ways? What are a bunch of different options that we got? We're going to be talking about all of that and more in just a moment. See you in a sec. All right, everybody, welcome back. So today we're talking about protein. We're going to be talking about protein powders. But first off, what is the big deal with protein? Why are we always hearing about it? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to be talking about it right now. The big deal with protein, you probably already know that protein helps build and maintain our muscles, repair our tendons, ligaments, etc., etc. What you might not know is that it is also extremely important in building up our bones, building up our cartilage, also building up our skin and our blood. Another couple things you might be surprised about is that it is important in creating enzymes and hormones and many other chemicals. So, as you can imagine, if you don't get enough protein in your regular diet, all of these things are going to start to suffer. If you're trying to build muscle, those things are going to suffer. If you notice that you're getting sick all the time, this might be a reason. So, what are some different ways we can get some protein? I'm going to talk about that right now. All right, so you might be wondering, what are some different ways that I can get some protein? Well, I mentioned at the beginning that we're going to be talking about protein powders. However, that's really supposed to be used as a supplement, not part of the regular mainstay. However, we're going to be talking about some applications for that you could use each day. But the best ways to get your protein is through your regular diet. Eating seafood, eating lean meats like beef, chicken, and pork. Also, eating eggs is a very cheap and affordable way to get some extra protein in your diet. With all of these things, however, try to make sure that you get the best quality of meat or protein as you can, and whatever you can afford, of course. And just do your best in that regard. A couple other ways that you can get your daily protein in is through milk, cheese, and Greek yogurt. Of course, if you're allergic to dairy or have issues digesting dairy, forget about that. Don't worry about it, okay? In terms of yogurt, if you do decide to get protein from yogurt, try to make sure it's Greek yogurt. Make sure that the protein content is just about even with the amount of sugar, because yogurt can really have a ton of sugar, and that's what's really going to mess up all of your fitness goals. Couple other options if you're looking for non-meat based options or non-animal based products. You can also check out beans and lentils, as well as soy products like tofu. Now, eating a lot of soy-based products for men can be a little bit troublesome. We're not going to really get into that, but the high level of estrogen can produce some unwanted effects if too much tofu or too much soy products is had every day or too often. If that was the only protein source, it might be a problem. If you're having tofu a couple times a week, you really don't have to worry. All right, so just mentioned how the best way really to get your daily protein in is through eating food through your diet, right? Try to get it as minimally processed as possible. When I mentioned protein powders earlier, obviously that's not the most minimally processed you can go. So why would you even want to look to protein powders? First off, I know from myself, when I wake up first thing in the morning, sometimes I don't have any appetite whatsoever. And if I don't feel like eating, maybe I might even skip breakfast. However, I've noticed in my life, and this is for me personally, happens to a lot of other people I've spoken to as well, that if they don't have something for breakfast, they are not feeling all that great by the time they get to their next meal, okay? If you're really advanced and you're doing a sort of diet or eating plan, keep following your plan. However, for most people, having something in the morning is really going to benefit them for the rest of their day. And for me personally, if I wake up, I have no appetite, sometimes I might get myself a scoop of protein powder, and that really tides me over until I do have an appetite, and then I can eat a little bit of a larger meal. If you're running out the door, grabbing some protein powder or a scoop or making yourself a protein smoothie can really help you keep your protein level high, keep all of these things, your enzymes, your hormones, your muscle building, your bone building, all of these things at a high or at least a moderate level, and that way you don't really have to worry about that. Okay, so we mentioned a lot about why we need protein, different ways to get protein, and whole food sources, reasons why you might want to consider a protein powder. So now let's go ahead and take a look at some different protein powders and types that are out there. These are some that I have tried personally, and obviously I have them here. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. All right, everybody, so here we are. As you can see, I got a little spread of all the different proteins that I currently have, okay? These aren't all the ones that I've tried before. I've tried a lot more than that in the past. However, at least these three are some of my favorites, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. First, I'm gonna let you know that there's actually different types of protein powders, okay? This one right here, as you can see, is a beef protein isolate, which means if you take a look at the ingredients right here, always look at the ingredients on your protein. The primary ingredient is beef protein isolate, meaning that the protein actually comes from cows. It comes from beef. So you can see the other ingredients here, dark chocolate, etc., all on down the list. We're going to be talking about ingredients more in just a minute. This one here is another type of protein. As you can see, it's vegetarian, gluten-free. Here's the flavor. It says it has 5 grams of branched chain amino acids. We're going to talk about that in a moment too. And you can see here in the ingredients list, here's all the rest. And you can see it has microfiltered, cold processed whey protein, this and that, etc. So if you're looking to lean away from getting animal product based protein, this would be a good start. It still does have whey, which is animal based, but if you're looking for something that is completely plant based, I have gotten this one for years now. It's pretty good. It tastes fairly good as well. And as you can see in the ingredients list here, it's all plant-based. So there's rice protein, broccoli protein, I mean all of these different kinds of plant proteins. It's pretty cool. So the other type of protein that I have out here is what's called a branched chain amino acid, BCAA, are a very special type of protein. Branched chain amino acids do some very special exercise and fitness related actions which you might want to consider. BCAAs are especially good for reducing muscle soreness, accelerating recovery, reducing muscle fatigue, as well as increasing the use of fat for energy. BCAAs, after protein and after creatine, which might be in another video, is one of the most researched supplements in the whole fitness industry. So they're pretty interesting. Now you might have noticed that I have this little packet of protein powder here. There is often different protein brands that sell little individual packets. So if you're always on the go or you're going on a trip and you don't want to necessarily lug one of these big containers with you, you can grab a protein packet, take it with you on the road, a convention, wherever. If you're working out, you want some protein before or after your training, your workout, these are really handy. So I actually got this protein powder recently. It's okay. After getting it, I probably wouldn't get it again because it does have a bit of an aftertaste. as well as when you're getting down to the very end, I mix 1 scoop in 2 cups of water, which is, I believe that's the, oh, they say even to mix it in 1 cup of water. However, I've noticed that even if I mix it in 2 cups of water, it still is not completely dissolved. First couple times I had it, it seemed to mix better. I don't know what happened after the first time I had it. I've used protein powders for years, so it's kind of mind-boggling in that regard. But for this one, the real reason why I got it is for a reason why I'm going to recommend to you now. When you look at the ingredients list up here, you'll want to take a look at the total weight for your protein, okay? Depending on what you want to do, some proteins have a lot of carbs and sugar and fat added in there. I'd recommend you find a protein that doesn't have a whole bunch of other things in it, unless you don't eat a whole lot of food during the day and you want sort of more of a meal replacement. But if you're looking simply for a protein supplement, just to increase the amount of protein you're getting each day, take a look at the ingredients list. You can see here that it says the total weight is 28.5 grams. And if you look on here, wherever the protein is, it says that the protein content is 24 grams, okay? So 24 grams out of the 28 grams is pretty darn good, and that's the main reason why I decided to give it a go. Also, happened to be at the grocery outlet, found this there, it was a good deal. Great place to go shopping for any of your needs, grocery outlet. Little plug there. But I probably still wouldn't buy it again just because I'm kind of having to choke it down. Whereas these two that I've actually been having for years, this one, it doesn't have a super awesome ratio. As you can see here, the protein content is 23 grams. You can see it right there. And then if you look at the 1 scoop size, it's 37 point something grams, and it's not exactly that great. However, the taste of this one is pretty good, and it's vegetarian based, so I've enjoyed using that one. Then the other one that's entirely plant based, and I give Vega a lot of credit for this. It does taste pretty good, it dissolves pretty well too, and the only problem is protein content per scoop is 20 grams, and the scoop size, if you notice here, it is 30 grams. So as you can see, the ratio for the beef protein isolate was a lot higher, which is why I was willing to give it a shot. But like I mentioned, due to the taste factors, I probably won't be getting it again. In terms of the BCAAs, these always have a kind of a citric acid kind of flavor to them. There's many different kinds of BCAAs out there, as is all of the different kinds of proteins. So try one if you can get a small sample pack to see how it tastes. I've gotten a lot of different sample packs. It's usually like $1 or $2. That way you're not spending 20 bucks for one of these or 25 or 30 bucks for one of these other ones. You can try, see how it is, see if you like it. If you don't like it, you know not to buy it. So I've saved myself a lot of money in the past by doing that. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for this nutrition segment of Total Body Training with David. Again, we covered protein and protein powders and why protein is so important in your daily life. As a final note, if I didn't mention it already, protein powder is not necessary in a healthy diet. Use it as a tool, as a supplement, okay? That's the way it was designed. That's the way your body interprets these things. So if you have the appetite to meet all of your daily protein needs with minimally processed sources, chicken, beans, dairy, soy, whatever works for you, all the more power to you. For many of you, myself included, who sometimes just doesn't have the appetite in order to meet all of your daily protein needs with minimally processed whole food sources, protein powders are a great option for you. So, that being said, this is going to wrap it up. Total Body Training with David. My name is David. Thank you for stopping by. If you like this video, please click like. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions for a video in the future, please place that in the boxes below. Again, thank you for stopping by. Stay tuned. See ya.